Hello, my name is David and welcome to David Computes. Today I would like to look again at the work we did in the previous video where we look at how to calculate some basic statistics on Standard & Poor's 500 seasonality, which is the spreadsheets that we are looking at now. We did this in the last video, and one of the things I've finished on my video, we spoke about some of the outliers we've seen for the data set we had at that time, which was from early April 2014 all the way to late July 2021. And we spoke about things like like the big gain for the months of July and November, and we also mentioned about the out of average loss for the months of September and the months of December. And we're not talking about, in this video, we're not going to talk about the seasonality for the weekday, perhaps again to explore in another video. So at that time I mentioned that we're perhaps not to read too much into it, and this was just what the data was telling us for this specific data set. So I mentioned that one of the things that would be interesting to do, and this is what I'm going to do in this video, is to look within one of these months, let's say for July or September, November, December, so one of the big values either for a gain or for a loss, and look how that month behaves on a year-by-year basis as opposed to an average for all the let's say all the Septembers for these data sets from 2014 to 2021. So quickly, there's more than one way, as usual. There's more than one way to do this. There's none is good and the other is bad. There are just different ways of doing this, whatever suits your style. So just quickly, one of the things you could have done on this spreadsheet, I've gathered a data set that goes from the beginning of 2004 all the way to end of July 2021. So roughly almost 17 years worth of data. So we have a large enough data set. Of course, you can do these calculations with whatever amount of data that you want. Of course, if it's too small, it won't provide you any valid information, or there's not much that you can lean on. Anyway, so one of the things you could do is you could just get all these data together and start doing the calculations, or you could break your data down, let's say per year. So here you only have 2004 data, as you can see, 2004. And then on another tab, you'd create a data set showing all the data for 2005. And you would create one tab for each one of the years, and then you would look at this data in a separate basis. So for instance, here you can see this is exactly the same work we've done before, but already done to save us some time for the 2004. So you can see here it's the count, so the number of days on the month, how many of those days were positive, how many of those days were positive in a percentage display, again negative and the same in display, and then the average, the sum, and the maximum value and the minimum value. So you could see that in 2004 we had 20 trading days for the month of January. 11 of those were up days, so which corresponds to 55% and so forth. And we could see that during the trading session, the month of January had, if you were to sum every day, you would gain 1.34%, rounding down. And again, the maximum and the minimum. And then, of course, you'd go and you do 2005. So in this case, for instance, we could just copy there, go to 2005, and just do that and do the same. We need, of course, to also copy the calculation there, and of course we need to calculate the month as well. Let's do that. And what am I forgetting? And sorry, I'll calculate the entire, which I didn't paste, so let's do that. And presto, we have now the information for 2005. So now you do this for every single year on your data set, and you can start comparing. So for instance, we can see 2004 January was an up day as in the sum, but in 2005 he actually lost just over 3%. And you go and you do through this. Equally, instead of doing this approach on a year-by-year basis, you could calculate all the data in one go. So for instance here, it's the values for all your entire data set. So all the way from the beginning of 2004 to late July 2021, and this is the value. So it's showing you for all together. But let's say we wanted, as we did on the tab by tab, we wanted to get just the data for each one of the years. So what we could do is, notice that on this formula, which is the one I've pasted there just for easier visualization, I just said if the column month this year, which again I just duplicated from there, it's to, you wouldn't need it, but again, if it's for sake of visibility, it's easier to perceive. If this column is equal to that month there, then copy the value. And that's what the formula is doing. And again, I've just copy pasted for everything, exactly like we done in the previous video. I recommend you look into that if you have any doubts on how to do this, or of course you can always message me or email me, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. So now what we want to do is actually to filter this data on a year-by basis. So I've typed the year there on the top, and if we were to add a logic where we also check not only the month but the year, which is what this formula is doing, so I put an AND operator. So in this case, the AND operator, what I've set up there is that not only the month have to be equal to whatever the value is here, but then the year has to be equal to that value. So in this case, the year 813, which is in that value there, has to be equal to I1, which is that. So if we were to put that formula there, and and copy there, so now it's only, let's remove the bold, we don't need that, and let's format this into fewer decimal. Let's just keep it 2. And then of course if you think there, now it's only picking January if it's 2004. As you can clearly see, if you scroll the data to the next year, you can see 2005 January is not picked. And of course, if we were to do that for all the remaining months of the year, you can just do that and quickly just complete. So the formula propagates through those. If you have any queries on how to do this, if I'm going too fast, feel free to ask, and I'm happy to answer you or do a video about any questions you might have. And there you go. So suddenly we have the data here for 2004, and if you look here, it's exactly the same data as it should be. No surprises there. And of course, just by quickly changing, you could have all the years you want. Let's say, for instance, 2006, and just to confirm, we're looking at, if we go in 2006, there you go, the data is there. If it is a different year, it doesn't calculate it. So in a single spreadsheet, you can have all the months if you want. So then what you can do, for example, if you want to have this to do a better comparison, you can just copy the values for a month. So let's do that. Let's create a new tab here. Just let's call this just to differentiate all data, perhaps not the best name, but for the purposes. So let's say we copy 2004, and we could go there, and we just, what we do is a paste special, and we just copy the values, okay? And therefore we have the values. And now we could go back there and say 2005, again, copy all the values and move it here, and then again the same thing, space special, copy the values, and so forth. And we can actually remove that, we don't need to have that. And actually it is easier to have that so we don't get lost on what year we're talking about. So here, for instance, we could say it was 2004, 2005, and we could copy paste for every single year, and then you'll have all the data here, and you can start comparing how the months go for each year. There's more we can do about this, and I want to do this, but not to make this video too big and easy to digest and look upon. I'm going to finish here, and I'll do a third video about this, where we'll try to get some information out of the data we're gathering here. And again, I'm doing this as sake of example for the standard and POIS 500, but you could have done this with a FX pair, with a for your favorite stock, for futures. There's no limit. This is just a how-to, and to show you that how some simple calculations can be done in Excel, and that's the objective of this video. I hope you like this video. I hope you find it useful. I hope you find it inspiring. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to be notified of new videos. Thank you very much, and see you soon.